Today's episode is a fun one. Today we have a bit of a different episode. So today I am listening to and reacting to your voice messages that you sent me on SpeakPipe. Ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago, I asked all of you to send me voice messages. They could be questions, they could be thoughts, they could be anything, and I would react to them live and in color, and I'm doing that today. So if you like what you hear, and you enjoyed the video, I want to keep doing it. It was fun. So if you're like, man, damn, I missed my chance to send a message to James. No, you did not. The SpeakPipe is still open. It's still available. The web page is behind me right now. So go there. I'll leave a link in the description. Go there. You'll send a message, and I will listen to it again in a future episode. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. So thank you all to everyone who participated. Now, you may be wondering, why am I doing this intro then? Right, why am I doing a random intro to a video? Two reasons. Actually, three reasons. Reason, two and a half. Reason number one. So I know the audio is low on the video you're about to see. My bad. What happened was I did an interview, a full-on hour-long guest commentary / situation for these boys right here on the You Don't Know Ball podcast. The episode will be coming out in June or July. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. We talked Saints. We talked everything. But I had to use Skype and switching the microphones and all that stuff. It jacked up my audio settings. So that's why it's so low. And so I'll keep you updated on when that episode comes out. I mean, you don't know ball. Trust me. The only person that would know more about ball than me is perhaps Lana Rhodes or Riley Reed, but we know ball, okay? And don't Google either one of those, ladies and gentlemen. This is a family channel. But the second reason and the most important reason why I'm making this little update is because of this hombre right here, Kremdalahala 3546. He posted a comment. I woke up to this comment. This is the first thing I saw this morning. I'm recording this on Wednesday. First thing I saw this morning. I always check the comments and reply. And this guy, the Crimson Chin, said, you know what? How about we do a live reaction? And let's see if you're as good as you say you are. Because you word it exactly like Carr said it. And it's so obvious that you saw the video before you made the video. And then you act as if you just did it freestyle. Just stop. I hear this all the time. Y'all know that. I hear all the time. How do you possibly, how are you so far ahead of everybody? You must watch these videos multiple times. Trust me, I don't. And then there's someone else that said the same thing on the same video. Where is he? Bro, stop acting like you don't watch the entire video before making your own. Obviously, these claims are unfounded, but it fired me up, right? And I do think we're the best in the business. We're the best doing this. I really do believe that. I put my money where my mouth is. No one else can do what we do on a daily basis. So, tomorrow, June 6th, Thursday, we will not have a posted video. Instead, I will do it live.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So Thursday, aka tomorrow, aka June 6th, we are going to go live at 6 p.m. 3 ways to watch: Twitter, Twitch, and this YouTube channel right here. I will go live at 6 p.m. We will do reaction video live right there. We're going to react to a video that was sent to me on Twitter. It was an after further review reaction. So we'll be doing that one there. Obviously, I haven't watched the video, but and then if we have more time, we may do other reactions. We may do Q&As. We may do voice messages. We may look at Reddit. We may do all kinds of stuff. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central. I will be live. Now, enjoy the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are answering your questions, or whatever they may be. So a while ago, I told you all to submit your calls, and we were going to start routinely kind of hearing from you, the viewer, about all things, anything really. It can be any topic. It can be the New Orleans Saints. It can be the NFL. It can be sports. It can be life advice, whatever you want it to be. I will answer. So I have picked 6 voice messages. I have not listened to them. They were the first 6 left. So, are the first 6 sent to me. I don't want it to be too long, so I don't want to go further than that. But if this goes well, because I haven't listened to these yet, so I'm hoping that, it's not some just horrific, vile language. But if this goes well, we will continue to do this. So go to SpeakPipe and leave your message. I will leave the link in the description. First one is from the boy, Hurricane Mike. Let's hear what Hurricane Mike has to say.
James, so I saw that you started this, but I got a question for you that personally. So let's say Derek Carr improves, okay? Let's say
All right.
Carr improves.
I'm with you.
Do you think, let's just make up a stat line.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think if Derek Carr throws, let's say he throws 25 touchdowns like he did last season,
Okay.
but let's say the touchdowns come in, like, don't come in garbage time. Let's say he has like 2 touchdowns every single game.
Okay.
Do you think the Saints have a chance to not only win the division, but do you think that they could get far in the playoffs?
Carr has to play good. I mean, no doubt about it. This is the NFL, so the quarterback position is important. Touchdowns, like stats, and that's where I kind of get. We talk about this a lot, like results driven, wins, losses, and stats too. Like stats are very difficult to look at and understand the full story. So let's just say, I'm a hypothetical situation here, but let's say a quarterback threw for 5,000 yards, but every single time they threw the ball, the receiver landed at the 1 yard line. And let's say that they always punched it in with the running back, and the quarterback finished with 0 touchdown passes. Now, obviously, that would never happen, right? Like, this is a really crazy example, but if you look at that, you're like, man, this quarterback didn't throw any touchdowns. This quarterback must be awful. But if you actually watch the game, you watch what was happening, you would understand the context behind the statistic, right? So I understand the question is, if Carr plays good outside of garbage time, but the touchdowns remain the same, can we win with that? 25 is kind of low in today's NFL. You would like to see a little more than that, but I don't think it has to be a number. Carr, if that's all we need is 25 touchdowns from Carr, and the rest are touchdowns from Kamara and Taysom and whoever else, we're running the ball and all of that. The defense is pitching in touchdowns, and the game script just kind of lends itself to that we don't really need that many touchdowns. I think that's totally fine. I mean, I don't think Troy Aikman, this is a totally different ball game because it was so long ago, but I don't think Troy Aikman ever threw for more than 25 touchdowns in his career in a season. Someone double check me there. I don't know if he ever threw for more than 25 touchdowns. So, teams win different ways. It's a very offensive-driven league. So if Derek Carr is not throwing for a bunch of touchdowns, they have to come from somewhere else. So if you told me Derek Carr has 25 touchdowns, Alvin Kamara has 5 touchdowns, we're in big trouble. We are in big, big trouble. I would probably think if that's the case, we have one of the lowest scoring offenses in the NFL. So flip side of that is, if Derek Carr has 25 touchdowns and Alvin Kamara has 16, 17 touchdowns, they got to come from somewhere, I would say. So we need Carr to be good, but we don't have to have 50 touchdowns. We don't have to have 40 touchdowns, 45 touchdowns. Carr missed a game last year, missed 2 halves equals a game. The offense wasn't great. So I would be shocked if he stayed around that number, but I don't think the offense is totally predicated on Carr's touchdown numbers. Thank you, Hurricane Mike, for the answer. And ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid to go down in the comments below and answer these questions for yourself down there. This one is from the dark side. Ooh, controversial yet brave name. The dark side offers a little bit of ominous, a little intensity. Let's hear what the dark side has to say.
Hey, James, this is the dark side. I love your show, man. I
appreciate that. I appreciate the support, guys. We're the fastest growing channel, not just really in New Orleans sports media anymore, but really just in sports media. We're flying. We're taking over, and that's all because of all of you. So I appreciate all the kind words, the support, the comments, the engagement, and the messages. So thank you very much, Dark Side.
I agree with Ross Jackson about the coaching staff. Pete Carmichael needed to go with that play calling last year. Also, DA, he probably needs to go this year.
Okay, now, no. Let me stop you right there. Here's the problem with DA. Okay, and this really goes back to filling the role of Sean Payton. Let's say you fire Dennis Allen. Okay, let's say the Saints win 8 games, 9 games, same as last year. Let's say the offense is better though. Let's say, because we all agree Pete Carmichael's a clown. So let's say the offense is better and you fire Dennis Allen. You're not going to fire Clint Kubiak, right? Because the offense looks better. He's a young coach. So then you have to replace your defensive coordinator, right? So you're firing the best defensive coordinator in the NFL to go hire a lesser defensive coordinator. Now, does that make any sense? No. We are in a sneakily tricky position. What should have happened was when Peyton left, we should have hired an offensive head coach, kept Dennis Allen as the DC. Because the issue is we can't demote Dennis Allen. That's never happened before, right? A coach isn't going to take a demotion. But we really can't afford to fire him because of how good he is defensively. And if you don't believe me, we did multiple videos with Patton Analytics, Analytic Report. He did a weekly report during the season, talked about the offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators' value per play on versus expected value. I know there was a lot of terminology there, but Dennis Allen was number one. He was the number one rated defensive play caller. So it's not just me saying that. Analytically, it's proven. So I understand where people may want to get rid of Dennis Allen, but because of the weird situation we're in, you would be firing him and you'd have to go get a defensive coach because you wouldn't go get an offensive coach after getting Kubiak and keeping Kubiak, and you wouldn't want to fire Kubiak if the offense is better. So it's very tricky. Very tricky.
Because I don't know whose decision it was to only target Jimmy Graham 7 total times for the entire year. The man finished with 4 touchdowns and only 7 targets. That's 67% of his targets went for a touchdown. That's better than Juwan Johnson. That's better than Chris Olave. If you think about it, that he was only 1 touchdown short from tying Rashid and Chris Olave with only 7 targets for the whole year. He went 4 to 5 weeks without even touching the field.
Yeah, our red zone play calling was really bad. What happened when we got in the red zone was and this happens a lot with bad play callers, is that they'll call a game kind of free and kind of fun in between the 20s because they're in the middle of the field. They have all the room to work with. When they get to their red zone, they shrivel up. They don't want to make a mistake. They're scared to death. All of a sudden, they shrink the playbook, and it becomes very basic. It becomes run, run, run. And you see a lot of teams that pass their way down to the red zone, all of a sudden run it 3 straight times and kick a field goal, right? And the Saints did that a lot. So when the Saints were good in the red zone is when we opened the playbook up, got our tight ends involved, Jimmy Graham involved, threw the ball a little bit more, got Taysom involved. We got a little bit more innovative in the red zone. That's where you saw the red zone numbers spike up towards the end of the year. And Graham was a big part of that, especially with Juwan Johnson battling injuries.
Whose decision is that?
It's Pete Carmichael.
He was the best player in the red zone, and you only can find him 7 times?
Yeah, I mean, last year that was a big problem was the personnel. We talked about it all the time. We're on third down. Where's Alvin Kamara? We would have, and it really drove me crazy because I can understand if you take Kamara off the field because you're going to need a pass block or you're going to need your running back to pass block, and if Jamal Williams is the better pass blocker. But there were so many times where Kamara would come off the field, and then Williams runs a route. He's not even pass blocking. So the personnel choices were horrible. We talked about the Taysom Hill plays where Taysom is in, at shotgun. He's running a read option, but he's running it with Adam Prentice. And then he holds it, obviously, and Adam Prentice turns into the lead blocker. Whose idea is that? Like, whose idea is to do it that way? Why even do the read option? Do you think anyone on the defense is going to expect Adam Prentice to receive the handoff? So personnel packages were a huge problem with the Saints, not just last year, but the year before. The Tampa Bay game, one of the first videos that really popped off on this channel a couple of years ago was we broke down the last 2 minutes of the Buccaneers game, the one where Tom Brady beats us in Tampa. And Ingram gets hurt on a play, if y'all remember this correctly. Ingram caught a pass, and he got hurt towards meniscus, I think, or maybe it's MCL. But the play, it's like a third down play. It's like a third and 8 or something like that, and he catches a little flat, a wheel route. Why the hell is Kamara not in? If that's the play, why is Ingram in and not Kamara? So there was a bunch of stuff that happened like that with the last couple of years. And that's just what that is that's having plays and having personnel packages before the game and then just letting them play out without you're not factoring in the game script. You're not factoring in the matchups. You're not factoring in wear and tear on the players. You're not factoring in any of that stuff. And that was that right there, 100%, you're right. The personnel choices were terrible.
Man, that doesn't fall on the players. That falls on the coaches. The coaches' jobs is to put the best player in the right position to win the game.
100%.
You think if Jimmy would have played against the Jags in Week 7, you think he would have dropped that game-tying pass in the last minutes of the game
Probably
like
not.
Foster Moreau did?
Yeah, probably
Why
not.
is he even in there? He's not even a catching tight end. Stupid.
The fire. I like it, Dark Side. No, you're 100% correct. Like you're right. You know, and even Dennis Allen to an extent, like the Saints struggling and all the stuff you just talked about, the personnel problems and all that, to point the finger at Dennis Allen and be like, we should fire Dennis Allen because the Saints are underperforming. Dennis Allen had nothing to do with the offensive personnel. Dennis Allen is a hands-off coach when it comes to the offense. He wants to focus on the defense. So, no doubt about it, our offensive staff had to go. They were cosplaying as Sean Payton. They were trying to be Sean Payton. They were trying to keep his ideals and vision and culture there. They couldn't do it, and I'm glad they're gone. They were a problem. It cannot be understated how big of an issue our offensive staff was. Great message. Thank you very much, Darkside. A lot of intensity. I love it. Next up, Lawrence Baptiste. Okay. Like the name. I like what we have going on here. Very regal name. Go ahead and listen to what Lawrence has to say.
What's up, James? So,
up,
first off, let me start by saying that I love the channel, and I hope this question isn't too tricky for you to answer.
No question is too tricky for me, my man. I'll tell you that right now. I appreciate the kind words, but I'm ready for any question y'all have at any time.
So, last season, we started the season 2-0.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we still didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, my question to you is, if the Saints hypothetically start the season this season, let's say 0-1 or maybe even 0-2, depending on how they're playing, should we be worried? Because last season we was 2-0, but the Saints' offense didn't look so good, and it didn't look anything close to how they finished at the end of the season. So that's my question.
100%. And I know he's got a chunk left here, but and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about the results, right? Like the Saints, you watch the Titans game, they win first game of the year. You watch that and it's like, this is not that great of a performance. Yeah, we got the win. Cool, but we got to get better. You watch the Panthers game, same thing. It's like, man, this is not, we got to get better. We have to be better than this. Even the Patriots game. So the Patriots game, we had a video where we said, this looks good, but if you really look at the numbers, we're still struggling where we shouldn't, right? We're still struggling in certain areas. We have to get better. Obviously, they never got better. So I would say, now you do have to get wins. You can't just say, well, we're playing good, even though the record doesn't show it. Put us in the playoffs. So you do have to get wins. But early in the season, we need to see how we're playing as far as like the strategy, the scheme, the style, the communication between players, the vision, of the offensive staff, and I guess defensively too. That's where we need to focus. You want wins to accompany that, but I want to see us starting out of the gate fast as far as our players communicating with each other, the play calls, all of that. You also need to focus on the offensive line. So we keep hearing how bad the offensive line is going to be. If in the first couple of games they're holding their own, that's a huge deal, regardless if we win or lose. Now, if they're getting absolutely demolished at the line of scrimmage and they are as bad as advertised, you have to factor that in. We did a schedule video where we kind of broke down the teams we have to beat and the teams we can lose to. I believe 10 wins will be competing for the playoffs. We'll be competing for the NFC South title. And you got to take care of the teams that you should beat. So the Panthers, we should beat them twice. The Bucks, we should beat them once. The Falcons, we should beat them once. The Raiders and the Broncos and teams like that, we should beat. The coin flip games, the Rams and the Browns. Like those teams, if you do the numbers, you can find 9-10 wins. What you can't have happen is you lose the coin flip games and then you lose to teams that you should beat. The Panthers or the Raiders or the Broncos or teams like that. So, if we start the season losing to Dallas and we lose to, I know this isn't the order of the schedule, but if we lose to Dallas and we lose to Kansas City and we lose to San Francisco and we lose to the Eagles, that's probably okay because we should lose to those teams. Doesn't mean we can't beat them, but those are expected to be losses. We just got to take care of business. I think the NFC South will be competitive again. I think the Bucks, Falcons, and Saints will all finish in that 10-9-8 win range. We just got to beat the teams we should beat, and we can certainly make the playoffs. And the only way we make the playoffs is winning the division. So it's one and the same. Very similar to last year, where if we would have taken care of business against Josh Dobbs, if we would have not blown the game against Green Bay, we would have won the division last year and had 10 wins. So it's that it's that close when a division is this tight. But I think we can do it.
If the Saints are looking good, but let's say we still drop the first game for 0-1, maybe even 0-2, should Saints fans panic or should we still stay positive?
Don't panic. If we're playing bad and losing, panic. But if we're playing well and you can see we're playing well and we're losing, especially against good teams, if we're playing well but losing to the Niners and losing to the Chiefs, I would say be positive about that. Now, if we're playing bad and losing to the Panthers, time to panic, right? But yeah, an early start isn't. I think the Ravens a few years ago, the Ravens went like 8-0 or 9-0 and missed the playoffs. So it can work both ways. It all depends on how you're playing. That's why we get so deep into the analytics, because a lot of other networks or whatever, they just see win-loss. But they don't see like the turnover margin. They don't see the yards per play. They don't see the actual true story of how the game is going. We do. That's what we really focus on in order to know what is actually a win, what's a good win, what's a bad win, all that. So that would be my advice there. Great message. Next, Chuck Macy, the boy. Oh, Chuck Macy. All right, let's go ahead and listen to what Chuck's got to say. Quick message, 26 seconds.
Hey, man, I got to know, man, where'd you get that hat? I tried to send a message before, but I don't know if it went through, so maybe it went twice. I don't know. But, man, I got to know where you got that Cafe Du Monde hat. You know what I'm saying? I'm subscribed to all your stuff. I like to hear what you got to say.
Love it.
You're better than the majority of these Saints covers or whatever. But keep doing your thing, man. Who that?
Who dat? I appreciate that, Chuck. The hat is from Cafe Du Monde. So I live in the French Quarter. Routinely take walks in the French Quarter. Routinely go down to the French Market. I didn't eat at Cafe Du Monde. I was walking out of the French Market. I had, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to anybody here, I'd probably had 5 or 6 Pimm's cups. I'd probably had a couple French 75s. I'd probably had a couple Bloody Marys, and I was feeling good. And when I'm feeling good, I come from a place of yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around like the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey. I'm walking around. I'm open to anything. Right? If I see something, I like it, I'm going to get it. If I want to have certain type of food, I'm going to order it, right? So I was walking through the Cafe Du Monde gift shop, which is next to the Cafe Du Monde restaurant in the French Quarter. So this is the one down by Jackson Square. And I was walking past the hat section. I love hats. I'm a big hat guy. If I like a place or like an area or support a place, I will get a hat. Same with like sports teams and whatever. So I saw this hat. I like the rope hats. I like the muted kind of color. It's a cool hat. Like literally cool. Like it's like one of those hats is like for the summer. And it was right before French Quarter Fest, so I knew I needed a hat. And I said, let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Got it right then and there. So that's where you get this hat. I think you can order them online. By the way, the Cafe Du Monde does have like a merch store online, and their hats are online. They have a couple cool ones. They have a couple cool, nice new hats. So if you want a Cafe Du Monde hat, this is where you get it right here. Or that's where you get it. But great hat. Love it. Good message. Thank you. Next up, Eli, 27 seconds. So another quick message.
James, you've probably already done it.
Blasted my eardrums there. I like it. Eli's getting nice and close to the microphone. He's not messing around. He's making sure that I hear the question. Respect.
But if you haven't, and I'm not promoting bullying here, but just Google Jake Haener photo shoot or just Jake Haener and hit images. But that's why you probably see at least a few accounts that have him as a profile picture because it's, they're trolling. But yeah, I just thought it was really cringy. And I haven't heard you comment on it yet, probably for good reason. But yeah.
Jake Haener, so he did a rookie photo shoot. All the rookies do a photo shoot. And Jake Haener, I don't know what the hell happens. I don't know if it was a prank or he was put up to it because he was a rookie. Sometimes it happens. But, man, he went full on Kardashian in this photo shoot. And I'll show some of the images. But, I mean, just some of the most zesty photos you will ever see. And, I mean, it's not good when those photos are combined with him wearing a glove. You never want to trust a quarterback who wears a glove. Now, I'll say this. Jake Haener took those photos, got himself straight to GNC, and said, hey, what's the most illegal supplement you got? And he took it, and he popped for PEDs pretty quickly after that photo shoot. And as you all know, it's never wrong to be strong. I'm always, that's one thing about Jake Haener I appreciate is his willingness to PR. He's an NFL quarterback, and he said, I'll risk it all to work on my Zercher squat. I'll risk it all to work on my deadlift numbers. I'll risk it all to get my bench up a little bit more. So, the photo shoot's questionable. The glove is questionable. What is not questionable is Jake Haener's willingness to do anything he can to get ahead when it comes to being strong. So thank you very much, Eli, for the message there, my man. The last one in this video, perfectly timed too. 6 was a great number. We're at about 20 minutes here on this video, so that's fantastic. All right, so we are on the last one, Mason D, 46 seconds. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fantastic. I really enjoyed this. So Speak Pipe, all right, that is where I'm hosting this. I'll have the link down below. It's so easy. I think you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. You just, boom, record it right there, send it. It goes to my email. I get it, and we'll do these videos all the time. This was a great idea. I really enjoy the engagement from y'all. So this would have been miserable if I would not have got any messages. So thank y'all for taking the time to ask questions and send some comments my way. 46 seconds, Mason D, the main event. Take it away.
James, under the guise of Dennis Allen as our head coach,
yes,
we have just been stuck in like perpetual mediocrity.
Okay, I like a lot of the words we're using. Mediocrity, guys. Mason's he's got the thesaurus out. Okay, he's got the dictionary out. He's reading every page.
So what is different about this year with a mediocre quarterback? I know he played well the last 5-ish weeks of the season last year, but we still got a mediocre quarterback, a play caller who we're all excited about, but who only has 1 full year of play calling experience.
Yep.
And a defense that should be pretty good, but is getting older. At least like the stars like Cam and DeMario and Tyron.
Yep.
So what is different about this year that won't make this team still be stuck in that mediocrity?
What's different is the vision. So what's different is the plan. We have a plan. I can't promise you that we won't be mediocre. I can't promise you we won't be 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. 9 wins is mediocre. 9 wins is bang average. 10 wins is kind of mediocre. If you go 10-7, are you great? No. Like you're mediocre. To be truly great, you need, the elite level quarterback, or you need the elite roster. You look at the teams that you would consider elite. You look at the Chiefs. Like you look at the 49ers. You look at teams like that, even like the Lions. The Lions, incredible roster, top to bottom. Best offensive line, best defensive line, great running backs, great wide receiver, good quarterback, good coordinators. You look at the 49ers. If I said the 49ers first, I meant the Lions. You look at the 49ers, top to bottom, probably the best roster in the NFL, one of the best, if not the best head coach in the NFL, the best offensive player in the NFL, and Christian McCaffrey. You look at the Chiefs, elite quarterback, the Bills, elite quarterback. So to be in that elite level, you need an elite quarterback, like the Bengals. The Bengals, as long as Joe Burrow's on the field, they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. When you don't have that, like the Saints, and you don't have that elite roster, you're kind of shooting for mediocre-ish, which I would say is 10 wins. The Saints have been gifted with a bad division. Like the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be mediocre this year. Bad news for the Chargers is they're in the same division as the Chiefs. So to win that division, you have to win 12, 13, 14 games. Saints have been gifted to where they can be mediocre, but still be relevant. Like the Buccaneers were mediocre last year, but they got to host a playoff game. They got to win a playoff game. They got to play in 2 playoff games. Like the fans would look at that season as a success, right? So it shows you that no one would say the Buccaneers were really good last year. No one would say that they are an elite team. No one would say that they aren't mediocre. If at the max they're above average, which I don't think they are, but at the max they're above average. So, I've heard some people say like anything but a Super Bowl is a waste, and that's kind of a crazy way to look at it because 31 teams aren't wasting their time. Like no one would say the San Francisco 49ers season last year was a waste, right? Like they made it to the Super Bowl, made a run. The Buccaneers again, like no one would say the Buccaneers season was a waste. The Packers was their season a waste? No. So I think you can get excited about the vision. You can be excited about the willingness for the Saints to go outside of the building with Clint Kubiak and Janoko and the staff. They're bringing in new ideas. They're starting to bring in their own players. We have young players to develop. You can be excited about the new scheme, the new system. Think about it. For the first time in 20 years, since 2005, this is the first time you will see a new system in New Orleans. That's crazy. That is nuts. Because Peyton obviously ran his system, and then Carmichael tried to run the Peyton system. So we are going to see all new plays, all new sets, all new everything for the first time in 20 years. No other team can really say that. No other team can really say like, yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing for 20 years. So that alone is exciting, and if it doesn't work, let's say it doesn't work. The willingness for Mickey Loomis in the front office to try new ideas and innovate and evolve, that's exciting. So there is excitement in the journey. There is excitement in the build. And that's what I'm excited about. I've said all this stuff. I've had all these videos where I'm very positive and very excited about the season, but I'm also realistic to where I don't think we're going to win 12 games. I don't think we're going to win 13 games. I think we're going to win somewhere around 9-10 games. Luckily for us, that's good enough to compete for the NFC. So if we win the NFC South, or compete for the NFC South, not the NFC. If we win the NFC South and win 10 games and get, same thing the Buccaneers did last year, I will consider that a success. I will be happy with that. If we win 7 games, no, that will not be a success. That will not be good. We will be worse than mediocre. We'll be way below mediocre. But, you can't get bogged down in just the Super Bowl and just being elite and just being great. Same with Carr, right? Like Carr, like you said we have a mediocre quarterback. Yeah, I have Carr as the 17th ranked quarterback in the NFL. It's ridiculous to be like, no, he's the same as Joe Burrow. No, he's not. And that's okay. It's when you start to, I think fans, I was just having this conversation with a couple of other YouTubers, but fans get real bloodthirsty whenever they're like, I'm expecting to go 14-3 this season, and I want to compete for the Super Bowl. And they're saying that about a team that is middle of the road. And then that team goes 9-8, and they miss the playoffs, and all of a sudden it's like, fire the head coach, sell the team, fire the GM, cut the quarterback. And it's like you probably feel that because you had these insane expectations for this team. So if you keep the expectations true, which I think we all have with the Saints this year, if you keep the expectations true and you know what to expect, you know what to look for, and you kind of have the range of floor and ceiling, then it makes it easier to see the product and to know, is this good? Is this bad? Is this working? What needs to change? Because again, if I'm coming out here and I'm saying Derek Carr should throw 50 touchdowns, 5,500 yards, 5 interceptions, he should win the MVP. If Derek Carr has a 35 touchdown, 11 interception season, we win 9 games, and he throws for 3,900 yards, the standards I have set, he had dramatically failed that. So then if I have set those crazy standards, it's easy for me to say, I'm expecting 55 touchdowns. He's giving me 38. Cut him. But in reality, it's probably pretty close to what his numbers should be. So, that's kind of what I would say as far as like how to handle going into the season, being excited about this season. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the build. We're building something new. We are building something brand new here. Is Clint Kubiak the next Sean McVay, the next Mike McDaniel? I don't know. Maybe, right? But if he is, how cool is that? If he is, how cool is that? We could be on the first chapter of the story of a head coach like Sean McVay or Mike McDaniel or Kyle Shanahan. We're right there. The Dolphins. You look at the Dolphins. How exciting are the Miami Dolphins? How much buzz is around the Miami Dolphins? But what have they really done? They've been kind of mediocre. But you can be excited about the way they play football, the way their games are, the players they have, the scheme, the strategy, the personality of the players and the coaches. There's a lot more to the game than just what's our wins, what's our losses. Do we have a mediocre quarterback or not? So, but a good question. Great message. Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic video. I really, really appreciate all of you for this content and for leaving me these messages. Do it again. Let's do it again. Get on down in the comments below. Click the link, record your message, send it to me, and I will see you in the next video.